The prequel to one of the biggest television series, Game of Thrones, will be out later this year. The trailer for the House of the Dragon promises to unravel the past of the Targaryen house, as well as other mysteries like the origin and true owner of the Catspaw Dagger. We can't wait to see what happens, but for now, let's discuss the dagger. Easter eggs in this video. First off is the Catspaw Dagger in Game of Thrones. The blade from the mainline series is returning, and House of the Dragon will apparently reveal its long unrecognized roots. From the start of the Game of Thrones to the very end, the Catspaw Dagger, a priceless knife made of Valyrian steel, played an important role. The knife was originally shown in the second episode of the series, where it was used in an unsuccessful attempt to kill Bran Stark. It made its comeback in Season 7, when Littlefinger gave it to Bran, who then gave it to Arya Stark. Arya slew the Night King with the Valyrian steel knife in one of the best scenes of Season 8, bringing down all White Walkers and Whites in the process. Oh man, what we wouldn't give to forget that episode and rewatch it. So, who is the true owner of the dagger? Peter Littlefinger Baelish claimed to have lost the Catspaw Dagger to Tyrion Lannister in a bet, but that was just one of his ploys. Peter was actually the first person in Game of Thrones to possess it. The Catspaw Dagger was never explicitly identified as belonging to anyone in Game of Thrones, although the characters implied that it must have come from a highly wealthy Westerosi. Samwell Tarly did, however, notice that a Valyrian steel dagger had been shown in a book on the Long Night. It's unclear if this was the Catspaw Dagger or another of a related design. Game of Thrones never explicitly said who had it before Littlefinger, though the show did imply that it was originally owned by a Targaryen. The prequel, House of the Dragon, might finally resolve the issue of the original owner of the Catspaw Dagger. That's because the new show will be giving us the backstories of many prominent members of the House Targaryen, their legendary dragons, and the weapons that are mentioned in Game of Thrones. In the trailers for House of the Dragon, King Viserys I Targaryen is shown holding the Catspaw Dagger alongside his daughter, Rhaenyra Targaryen. We see him setting it on fire to maintain its power and shape. That means the series will definitely cover its origins. What's more, the actors have commented about its importance too. Viserys Targaryen actor Paddy Considine said at San Diego Comic-Con that if he could have taken any prop from the set, it would have been his dagger. Considine contributed by describing the significance of the dagger and then turned to face Olivia Cook. Cook plays Alicent Hightower, who can be seen running towards Rhaenyra with the dagger in the trailer. It's possible that the king had the dagger made out of repurposed Valyrian steel and decorated as his weapon. That makes sense, since House of the Dragon's Viserys also owned Blackfire, the Targaryen family's ancestral Valyrian steel sword. Even though the steel from the sword was probably used for a previous prop, the show appears to have established that King Viserys I Targaryen was the Catspaw Dagger's original owner. A plausible theory, and we wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being the case. Whatever it may be, it should be interesting, as this is one of those questions that has been on our minds for a while. Finally getting an answer will be super satisfying if the show does it right. Finally, what was the dagger's importance in the show? The Catspaw Dagger is prominently displayed in the House of the Dragon trailers, yet Fire and Blood, the source material for the prequel, makes no mention of it. Instead, by delving into the universe's shared history, the adaptation appears to be developing a closer relationship with Game of Thrones mythology. The Valyrian steel blade played a crucial role in the beginning and conclusion of Game of Thrones, and it appears that the same is the case for House of the Dragon. Viserys and Rhaenyra appear to have forged the blade prior to the events of the House of the Dragon, when Viserys named Rhaenyra as his heir. We still don't know how the Catspaw Dagger ties into the beginning of the House of the Dragon, but the Valyrian steel blade will certainly be of crucial importance just before the Civil War. In what appears to be one of the most crucial moments leading up to the Dance of the Dragons, sometimes known as the Eye for an Eye incident, Alicent Hightower is seen dashing at Rhaenyra with the knife. After Alicent's son Aemond has his eye removed by Rhaenyra's son Lucerys, Alicent demands that her step-grandchild likewise have her eye removed. The incident turned out to be one of the last straws in the dispute between Alicent and Rhaenyra before the War of the House of the Dragon started. The dagger looks like it'll be extremely important to the show, given the number of appearances it had in the trailer. We can't wait to see how all the events and scenes with the dagger unfold. And now for some other news. First off, House of the Dragon is on a whole new level compared to Game of Thrones. There are many explanations as to why Game of Thrones became the most watched television show in history. It featured a wide spectrum of captivating characters whose heads often seemed to be about to fall off. You had complete faith in the expansive, rich fantasy world it created. Additionally, especially in its later seasons, it offered a magnificent spectacle, with bloody clashes, dragon attacks doused in flames, and ice zombie showdowns. Emma Darcy, who plays Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen in her adult life and is the daughter of Paddy Considine's tyrannical King Viserys, teases, fundamentally, House of the Dragon is a different animal. Darcy teases even trickier mind games behind the Red Keep's walls this time, argues that it would be unwise to try to mimic and be like Game of Thrones. I think what makes this season special and something I like is how deeply ingrained it is in the house. It has a domestic, interpersonal, psychological, and family focus. It does, however, contain many well-known landmarks, albeit not in quite the same way. One difference is that the Iron Throne is much greater this time around and more like the one in George R.R. Martin's book. It illustrates a sense of wealth in Westeros that was greatly eroded during the difficult times of Game of Thrones. Showrunner Ryan Condal claims that the decadence and influence are higher now. For this reason, the Iron Throne is decked out in far finer garb. The Targaryens are at the pinnacle of their affluence and power in this specific chapter. This is a remarkable story in my opinion. Bring on the blood and fire. All the nice things that the cast and crew have to say about the show have us hyped. Next up, we have Bella Ramsey, a former fan favorite on Game of Thrones, discussing typecasting. Bella Ramsey gained popularity recently for her work in His Dark Materials, the female-centric television series Becoming Elizabeth, and the upcoming adaptation of The Last of Us with Pedro Pascal. However, many people will undoubtedly remember her for her breakthrough performance as Lyanna Mormont in Game of Thrones. Despite being young, Lyanna was a fierce leader and devoted to the Starks, and after making her appearance in Season 6, she won over a lot of fans very quickly. More than 6 years after appearing in her debut episode as the young lady of Bear Island, Ramsey has now spoken out about typecasting. She talked about loving the fact that she didn't get typecast over the role she had in Game of Thrones. According to her, she's had a lot of fun playing different characters from different shows that have different genres. It's exciting and cool, she said. We completely get what she means. Being typecast must be miserable for the actors and actresses, and it is a big issue. Finally, let's talk about these two Stranger Things actors appearing in Game of Thrones. Have you ever thought that some of the Stranger Things cast members seem strangely familiar? Tom Walshia and Joseph Quinn, two of the show's stars, co-starred with Arya Stark in the well-known HBO series Game of Thrones, according to Entertainment Weekly. The German actor Tom Walshia played Jaqen Har, a highly accomplished assassin who's a member of the Faceless Men of Braavos. He's the one who teaches Arya how to become no one in the popular HBO series. The English actor Joseph Quinn, on the other hand, appears in a brief scene with Arya in the 7th season of Game of Thrones when she travels to Winterfell to see her sister Sansa. Joseph briefly played the guard who was skeptical about letting Arya enter the castle. This was understandable, since she did return after such a long time. Even though this was just a cameo, we love any sort of connection between our favorite shows. That's a wrap for this video. Are you as excited as us to discover the origin of the Catspaw Dagger? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and we'll see you in the next one.